In this tutorial, we're going to show you how to be able to create a data room without ever having to leave your Gmail. First thing you want to do is go to orangedox.com and hit the Get It from the Google Workspace Marketplace button. This will allow you to install Orangedox to your entire Google Workspace, including your Gmail and Google Drive. Once installed, you should be able to go back to your Gmail and see a new icon here on the right-hand side for the new Orangedox app. Selecting that, and once we allow access, there's a whole bunch of different options we can choose from within Orangedox. We can create a new room, we can manage our existing rooms, we can also add custom branding and use the full app right from here. We're going to want to create a new room, so we can go ahead and click that. The next thing we need to do is sign in to Orangedox using our Google Drive. This is going to go ahead and sync Google Drive with Orangedox. If you don't have an account already, you can go ahead and sign up for a 14-day free trial, no credit card required. Once we've given access to our Google Drive, we can go ahead and select the name of the room. And we'll go ahead and now choose a folder. Orangedox is now synced with your Google Drive. So once we select a folder that we want to use for our data room, this folder will now be dynamically pulled from a Google Drive, including all the files and subfolders. No need to upload anything to Orangedox. Everything will always be synced as well with your Google Drive, so any changes you make will automatically be reflected within your data room. We'll choose our shared drive and go to our Morale demo folder. The next thing we can do now is choose how we want to secure this data room. By default, a lot of our users decide to disable downloading of files within the room. And the reason for that is once files are downloaded, they are now out of your control. They can be shared with anybody. So typically our users like to disable that. And this works for files we can preview online. So things such as PDF, Google Sheets, Slide, Docs, PowerPoint presentations, Word documents, videos, like a whole variety of different files you can preview online. The full list is here. The next thing is how we're going to secure the room. Orangedox gets rid of passwords. We don't use passwords, and the reason for that is that they're inherently insecure. They can be easily forwarded to somebody else. Instead, we use something called device level security. And device level security has to do with attaching the access to a particular user's device. So this could be a laptop, it could be a phone, it could be a tablet. So we only allow limited access per device. So you can change the device expiry, how long you want these devices to be accessed your room for. Obviously, you could disable access earlier than this if needed, and how many devices you want to allow. So if you're, say, investor or recipient wanted to open it on a device, you can maybe only have one, and then they'll always have to open it on that device. Or you can set it to as many as you like. Remembering that the more devices that you give the recipient, the more chance they can go ahead and forward that access to somebody else and they could open up on their device. You can also change these settings later and also forward access again if needed, if they need like a new fresh set of devices. Final setting is how we want to go ahead and deliver this room. You can have Orangedox automatically send an email on your behalf with the access link, or you can manually send it yourself and maybe create a customized little message to your investor or recipient along with the link to that. Next thing we can do here is see our data room. We want to do a bit of a preview of this before we send it to anybody. So we can go ahead and change the title if we don't like the title of the room, add a description. We can see different options that we've set and change those if needed. We can also set whether or not we want email notifications. So do we want to be notified when a particular user actually opens the room by email? And finally, we can see what participants we have in the room. First thing let's go have a look what the room's going to look like first. So we open the room up here. We can see we've already set some branding up. We have a Morale icon and a logo and color scheme here. We've also set how we want to display this room. We have a couple different folders, subfolders of content, and a variety of different type of files we have in the room. In this case, we have a Google Slide as a case study, a Google Doc as a company overview, a financial analysis for 2025 as a Google Sheet, and a non-disclosure agreement as a PDF document, and even maybe a partnership agreement as a Word document. So a variety of different types of files we support for previewing. Let's go ahead and look at one of them. This is our pitch deck. As you can see, there's no easy way to download this, so it won't be easy for your investors to download and share this without your permission. We can scroll down here. Anytime a user is sort of scrolling through these pages, we're actually recording specifically what they're doing. So how long they're spending on each page, when they open it, etc. And this lets you be able to track exactly what users or investors are doing with their data room. So if they're looking at your pitch deck, they're looking at different types of documents, how interested are they really with your data room? And it's also great for auditing too as well. So going back here, we can see we have a variety of other types of files. We have a media folder where we can put in, say some videos. So we have customer interviews. We can put in there as a video, product screenshots, maybe even like a quarterly earnings report, shareholder report. That was a call, an audio file. And you can go ahead and view these right within Orangedox. No need to go download this or go anywhere else to YouTube. Simply be able to play this right from your Orangedox data room. Going back to now Gmail, we can see a couple things here. One, we were email notified that this was opened. This is a great feature, so you know exactly when investors are looking at your data room. Give them the opportunity to follow up with them immediately to see if they have any questions or concerns, or if something maybe was missing from your room as well. If we want to go ahead and now look at some of these metrics to see what actually these investors have been doing, we can select the Manage Data Rooms. And from there, we can select our data room. And finally, we can select a few different options here. We can enable or disable the entire room if there's an issue there. We can edit the room, so we can go back and look at those settings we had previously, add new participants, things like that. And finally, we can look at some of the summary metrics. So what are people doing with our room? Here we can see that we've looked at the room. We have 4 different views of documents on 1 different device. We've looked at the customer interview, that video, our pitch deck, and a product screenshot as well. Look at the pitch deck. We can see specifically that we looked at this room on today's date. So we opened it once, and we spent about an average of 33 seconds looking at this pitch deck. Not very long, but we looked at maybe page 4 a little longer than anything else. And that gives you some really good idea of like what exactly are your investors looking at and what are they not, and maybe curating a little bit of the room toward that particular investor. In addition, we can go ahead and go back to edit the room. And perhaps what we want to do before we send this out is we want to maybe make some changes to the room. So if you go ahead and hit source files, we can go and open that particular folder within our Google Drive. Again, it's synced with Google Drive. As you see here, everything's exactly the same as we have in our room. And we can make some changes. We can add some files, remove them, maybe update some issues that we had. And everything that will be automatically synced with your Orangedox account. Finally, if you want to go ahead and do things like add branding, or maybe even manage your Orangedox account, you can simply open up the full app. And this is the Orangedox full app. It gives you a whole bunch of other different features. You can add your team, you can add your branding, you can manage your account, you can even share files directly with users. We even have some deals available, so discount deals on certain products that a lot of startups use. If you're interested in trying this out, we have a 14-day free trial, no credit card required.